Howdy, howdy. Just to give an update on my Honda CRF300 Rally. Sorry, that CRF300L Rally. As you can see here, there are a lot of plastics missing, and that's because it got completely destroyed during the last Big Bend trip, where not only did I drop the bike about a handful of times, there were also a lot of rocks kicking up and completely destroyed the plastic. So now that the exhaust header is exposed, I need to figure out a way to keep the heat from touching my leg. I did ride it like this a few times, and even with pants that protected my leg, I can still feel the heat. It's very hot. So to do that, I can of course just put on a heat shield, but on prolonged rides, if let's say something happens and I need to check the bike, I don't want to accidentally touch it or wait, half an hour to an hour for it to cool down before I can touch anything. So I'm going to also be applying header wraps and then spraying it with high temp silicone to coat it. That way the header wraps don't turn white after a few heat cycles. And then once I have the header wrap and then sprayed it, then I'll put on the heat shield. Because I've heard stories where maybe this doesn't get as hot, but I've heard stories where when headers get really, really hot and they have header wraps on, they develop cracks. I don't really care. I'll find out if that ever happens, and if it does, that gives you an excuse to buy a new exhaust. So this is the right side fairing. Now, how does this go? Oh yeah, it was like this, like that. And the reason why I cut this off, it's just scratches, I know, but the other side is completely obliterated. But this is the old heat shield contained inside the fairing, and I cut it off because I have here the right side, which goes on the bike this way. It goes on the bike, like this. It goes on the bike like this, and the other side. And as you can see here, rocks just completely destroyed it. Not just scratches, but there are big cracks. It's just ugly, and I don't really care for fixing it. I don't mind the look like this, so I'd rather do it this way, and it's also easier to work on. I don't have to remove fairings if I need to just do something simple. And when I change the oil, for example, when I put a funnel here, the fairing used to get in the way, now it doesn't. So there's some bonuses to opening it up, and a lot of people have done this. In fact, some of them even cut it much higher than I did here, but this was all I needed to do. So all right, I'm gonna get started. I'm going to cut here straight through so that the edge is not jagged. All right, so I'm gonna wrap the whole thing starting from the very top. Like so. And from here, I'm just gonna kind of hold it like that. I put on one of the zip ties. Like this. Okay. Okay. I'll tighten that afterwards. It's pretty tight already, but I'm now going to, hopefully I don't get it wrong. I mean, I have a lot of extras, but I'm just gonna roll out, I don't know, maybe 20 feet or so. This should be plenty long. And if it's not, I still have the rest of the wrap at my disposal. Okay. So I'm supposed to wrap this overlapping a 1/4 of an inch. So I'm just gonna do this patiently here. I'm gonna fast forward so you all don't have to watch this thing play out. And here at the very end, I'm going to wrap it one last time, butt it up right up against the O2 sensor bung, and then put the zip tie on. Here I might have to use 2 because I don't want this thing to be just flapping. I'm gonna use 2 here. That should be good. Now I just have to cut these excess metal zip ties off. All right, that looks good. So there it is. Just making sure to capture the cable for the clutch. Looks good. Looks nice and tidy. And I just have to cut the excess on the other side as well. So this is how it looks now. Close up. Looks pretty neat. And I'm gonna wait for it to dry. I don't know, maybe I'll ride my bike around the neighborhood to help it along. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Next steps will be to spray it and then install the heat shield. Okay, smells funny. And there's smoke. I don't know if you can see in the camera, but there's smoke. Here, I'll try to show you. Is that visible in the camera? Yeah, it's smoke. You see it? That's the chemicals and obviously the water. So I just wanted to burn that off. Now it's gonna take some time for this to dry off, obviously, but as you can see here, if I touch it, it's not hot at all. So that's the whole point of this, really. But on prolonged rides, it would still be hot. However, without it, as soon as you touch it, that's it. You're gone. You're gone. Your skin is gone. So on prolonged rides, this should still be okay to touch like that, like briefly, like by accident, but at least it's there for my protection. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait for this to completely. I mean, it's already dry right now, but I'm just gonna wait for it completely to dry off and dry out and completely cool off, and then I'll spray it some with the high temp silicone spray. And once that's done, putting on the heat shield should be easy. In the meantime, while I wait for this, I'm gonna show you all what I'm gonna do with the heat shield. Okay, so what I have here is some insulation tape. This is not the same thin tape that you'd put on like HVAC stuff, like maybe where you put your HVAC air filter and then you tape it. This is not that. This is the tacky one. It has like that gray stuff inside that stays very tacky. So I'm going to put this inside of the heat shield. I'm going to apply it inside the heat shield like that. And then I'm just going to, whatever's exposed on the other side, I'm just going to cut around it with a box cutter or blade. Right, but I'm going to apply this all around. And that way, when I put this in here, not only is it shielding me from the heat, it's deflecting the heat inwards, away from me, away from my leg. All right, and here is the finished product. Some of the edges still have like bits and pieces that I don't really care to clean up or remove. But here's a close-up. And here's the other side. So now this is a more effective heat shield than how it came originally. And now that the header wrap is dry, it's dry all around. There's no part that's still wet. I'm going to start spraying. All right, and this is how it looks after spraying it. Not bad. Of course, the backside, I tried to spray as much of it as I could, but the backside of the heat wrap, or the header wrap is not sprayed. Just a little bit of overspray here on the O2 sensor bung, and a little bit here, which I'm going to wipe off now with some alcohol. All right, now that we've given it time to dry off, I'm going to now install the heat shield. You have two brackets that the heat shield will bolt onto, and it comes with two screws, obviously. It also comes with two hose clamps, which will go on your header. Let me do this side first, and I'll determine where that ends up. All right, so I can squeeze this in over here, the very edge, which I'll do now. I'll do it right here, the very edge, right up the sensor. All right, let's see what size this is. Is it metric or imperial? There it is, SAE. I'm going to tighten the hose clamps. If you look closely right there, see the bubble and the paint chipping. And over here you can see the bubble. I mean, that's to be expected. It's made in China. I was looking for the it's made in China, and I was looking for the OEM one, but no luck. Oh no, I did find it, but for the price, I was just like, nah, I'll just do this. Okay, so I'm just gonna bend this back like I did the other side. Gonna kind of roll it first, so I'll scratch the paint of the crankcase cover. Now that it's no longer touching the bottom, I'm gonna roll it back on itself. If I need to remove it later, I just need to roll it back out and then do that. So this clearance is good. There's clearance between the header and the heat shield. As you can see here, there are some scratches and the sticker peeling. This was done from when I had the bike on the hitch carrier. So this is from the ratchet strap. And then these scratches here are from falling, or dropping the bike rather. So, but the cut I made here is pretty clean. No burrs. I filed it, so it's not sharp. And now it's easier for me to access the hydraulic preload adjuster, and I think it looks good. For those who are curious, I only rode around, I don't know, maybe almost a mile, not even a mile. It's warm, but I could leave my hand here all day. It's not hot at all. So the header wrap is the paint's still, yeah, but it's also okay to the touch. But again, the real test is riding this long distance when when the airflow is barely keeping up with the heat dissipation. That's the real test. I have to roll this up a little bit because it's hitting the hose right here, so I have to roll this upwards a little bit. Yeah, I don't want that rubbing and the vibrations cutting that radiator hose open, so I'm gonna roll that up a little bit. But yeah, that's it. Otherwise, it's a successful install. It's pretty easy, nothing too hard. That concludes the installation. Let me take you off the tripod and show you how it looks. I call that good. Nice.